So what does the buyer's agent do for you? And why do you need a buyer's agent? Number one, in July, they'll change the compensation to the buyer's agent that it can be paid by the seller or by the actual buyer. So you're gonna wanna find out if you'll be paying for that or if they can negotiate that in with the sale of the property that you're buying. But the buyer's gonna schedule time to meet with you to prepare like a buyer's guide and presentation about buying the home, discussing your goals, discussing what's important to you. Is it the school system? Is it being close to your family? Like maybe your parents help with childcare. They're gonna discuss everything with you, kind of what you're trying to buy, location, what you desire, in the home. And then they'll explain the buyer and seller, agency relationship, who's gonna pay for their services and how that can be done. They'll also discuss the different types of financing loan options that you have. They can help find a mortgage lender. They can also refer attorneys, inspectors, things like that. They'll want to make sure that you have a pre-approval letter from your lender because that's important so they know what you qualify for. They'll explain what they do, as a buyer. They will explain what to do for buyers as your realtor, and they'll provide an overview of current market conditions. They'll explain, their values to you, when they work, what times they can show homes. They'll explain like definitions, like we've talked about earnest money. A lot of buyers don't understand what that is. It's basically your deposit when you make a contract offer. You give an initial amount showing good faith that you would like to buy the property. And then after inspection, you increase the earnest money in case you cancel, that can be kept by the seller. So they're gonna explain all that to you. They'll explain the home inspection process and if any additional inspections are needed. And they'll educate the buyers about the local neighborhoods and areas. They'll discuss different types of sales, like there's some foreclosure sales available. There might be short sales. It's called REO sales. There might be estate sales. So they'll explain the different sales. There might be just normal sales as well. They'll gather your needs and wants, of your next home. Like, are you trying to downsize? Or are you trying to expand your home because you're, having to start a family? School districts can be important. They'll also, explain to you the opportunity of down payment, seller credits, how you can, finagle to keep more cash on hand, or they'll explain different loan programs, like if you want to do a renovation loan on a house. They'll also create your file, make records of homes that you've seen, ones that you've liked. They'll actually add you to a system. They'll update you when new properties go on the market, and they'll also update you when maybe there's price decreases on a home you saw, but that it might not have been affordable. They'll let you know if that changes. And they'll just help you with your criteria of buying. Like if you want a certain number of bedrooms and bathrooms, they'll make sure to show you homes that will meet your needs, okay? They'll schedule all the showings. They organize them. Like sometimes you'll go see 10 or 12 properties in a day. Well, they'll make sure all the appointments are set. They'll have the lockbox key, or there might be open houses they're taking to. And then they have to gather all the instructions to do all that for you. And then they'll schedule your showing and send you the schedule so you can meet and follow them to everything. They'll also prepare any offers you want to make. They'll look at the home with you because if they see any repair issues, they'll point those out to you as well. Yes, you're going to get a home inspection, but trust me, some of these realtors have been doing this for 20 years and they've gone to so many home inspections, they can start to see things as well. And they'll also give feedback, after each showing. If you like something or didn't like something, they'll know, what maybe works for you versus what you didn't like about a showing. And again, any new homes that hit the market, you're going to know about it. Sometimes there's private listings. They'll get those to you first. They'll guide you through like the disclosures and what, you need to learn from them. You also have to sign them. They will keep records of, again, all the showings. And then they'll discuss if there's a homeowners association, what that means for you. Because some are called planned unit development, which is a single family home that just has a few things that the association does, like maybe maintain the common areas, by shoveling or cutting grass, but they don't really insure your home. They don't have anything to do with that. So it's more just a planned unit development on a single family home that they'll explain what rules you have to follow. If it's a condominium, there's a much higher level. There's a 22.1 that they need to get, which is a report about the health of the association. And they have to get declarations, budgets, bylaws. All that has to be gone through with you when you buy anything in a PUD or a condo. They'll also help you understand your utility cost usage. They can ask for reports from the seller of what they paid for their gas and electric. They can confirm, are you on water, city sewer, or are you on well and septic? If it's on well and septic, you're gonna need more inspections for the well and septic. They're gonna discuss home warranties, what's transferable. Should you buy a 1-year warranty once you close? Those are also available. They'll explain the property appraisal process, if there's multiple offer situations, what an escalation clause means. They'll create the offer and prepare the paperwork with you to make the offer, collect the deposit check that you need, because if the offer is accepted, they have to go drop it off at the title company or the attorney. They'll provide you with the updated CMA for where you're buying so you can see the trend, like, is the trend going up? Is it going down? It'll help you price your offer properly. And they'll also let you know at the home inspection if you need to talk to your attorney, or if you're not an attorney, state what the seller can do, like, because the seller is allowed to give credits or they can do repairs. So they're going to try to help negotiate all of that with you. They'll discuss the inclusions of property, personal property, or exclusions. They'll prepare the sales contract, like I said. They'll get all the signatures done and any negotiations done for you during the process once you make the offer. They're also going to educate you on different options in the contract that you can do. They'll try to explain to you probably like different loan options, like 2-1 buy down, if they know that, or they'll refer you to a lender that does. And they'll explain your home warranty options. They'll also make sure, let's say you have a pre-approval letter that only goes up to a certain amount, but you want to offer on a higher priced home. They would want to get that letter updated to make sure that they go in as strong as possible. They'll discuss the deadlines for financing, deadlines for closing date, and that they'll verify that the listing data is correct, on the MLS, because sometimes there are errors when they input, and they'll make sure that you know what you're buying and that the listing matches what the home is. So they'll review the comps with you. And again, once they negotiate and everything is under contract, they'll get an executed contract and disclosures to your mortgage company, to the title company, and to any attorneys, if necessary. They'll coordinate that earnest money drop off like we discussed, and there should be 2 drop offs, one on initial contract and then one once you're out of inspection. So the buyer's agent will be working all that. They're also going to communicate with your mortgage lender all the copies of the contract and the disclosures, because your lender's going to need that to start their process. And the disclosures are important because if there's anything on the disclosures that may need repair, they're going to point that out to you. So for example, in a basement, if it says there's water and that's disclosed, that's going to have to be repaired before you can buy the home. So either they're going to have to do it, or you're going to have to figure out if you can do a holdback and escrow. So that's why your agent's going to help you through that. And they'll help you, again, sign off on all the HOA stuff for bylaws, decks, budgets. If you have an attorney, they will help you as well. Why I keep saying is that there's some attorney states, there's some non-attorney states. If you're in a non-attorney state, your agent's going to do a ton of the heavy lifting because you don't have anyone representing you except the buyer's agent, okay? They have to keep track of all the records, coordinate all the inspections. They'll meet you and the inspectors at the house because you may have multiple inspections depending on, what they find on the initial. And then they'll get everything agreed upon in writing to make sure that we can move forward following the attorney approval or inspection issues. Then if there's any lease agreements in place on the home, why I keep saying that a lot of people are doing solar panels, those are typically under lease agreements that are tied to the home, and you can transfer that over. So they're going to make sure that any lease agreements transfer to you. And then they'll also keep following up with your lender to make sure that they're going to meet the financing date, the appraisal dates, because a lot of things contractually have specific dates that need to be met, and the buyer's agent is making sure all those dates are met so that the seller cannot back out of your contract for any reason, okay? Anything that goes wrong on the appraisal, they can help negotiate with that. If it's like too low in pricing, they can go back to the seller and say, hey, it didn't appraise out, we need to reduce the price, and then we can close. They'll also work with the buyers to do the final, walkthrough, make sure they know what time they're closing, what they need to bring IDs, utilities. Again, the buyer side is doing almost everything the seller side's doing, but they're on the buyer side. So there's like 90 steps on the seller side and 90 steps on the buyer side that have to be done, which is a ton of work. And again, we talk about this because with this NAR agreement that this lawsuit happened, a lot of people are like, oh, we don't need a realtor anyway. And I just don't believe that that's true. There's just so much to do. And while attorneys can help with some things, if they charge you by the hour, you're going to end up paying way more in attorney fees, most likely not get your home because agents are showing you the home the minute it goes on the market. They're getting the offer immediately. You're getting the lender to show like a loan commitment. You know, some companies can clear you to close same day. And if your realtor is working with a great lender and you have such a strong offer, let's say you have a buyer's agent representing an offer E, you don't have an agent because you didn't want one, they're most likely going to take the offer with the agent. Here's why. The seller's agent's going to not want the hassle of dealing with someone that doesn't have an agent. And if you're using an attorney to represent you, they don't work weekends, they don't work nights, they're not going to be able to go to home inspections. So it's just something you have to consider. All these fees can be rolled in anyway, and they have been for years. So I don't think much is going to change. Yes, they're negotiable, but they've always been negotiable. There just was a lack of clarity on who pays what and what the exact fees are. That's been resolved. There's now agreements in place that the seller will have to sign, the buyer will have to sign, and I think it will make a lot more clear communication going forward with everyone on the transaction. But if you're looking to buy or sell, please make sure you utilize an agent. Remember, I'm here for all your mortgage needs. While I do renovation lending, I also do move-in ready. So if you're unsure whether you want to get a fixer-upper or a move-in ready, I can handle both. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more news, market updates, and opportunities to save money.